Hello there everyone, Shibby here. Hope everyone out there is doing well and staying back once again with some more Pokemon trading card game pocket ranked matches. Today's video I felt trying out a Sweets Relay deck that I put together and see if I can manage to win a game or two online with it. Now if you're unfamiliar with what a Sweets Relay deck is, it is a move that a lot of Pokemon in the EV Growth set have that where if you use it the first time, it's weak, but every subsequent use it stacks and stacks more damage. For example, with Swirlix here, the first time I use Sweet Relay, it does 10 damage, and then every subsequent turn it does 20 more, so it does 30 for every subsequent use. And what's good about it is that the move stacks with itself, not with the Pokemon. So for example, if I use Sweet Relay with Swirlix and then tag in Milcery, I still get the stack and do 30 with Milcery like I would with Swirlix. But the whole point of this deck is to keep stacking up Sweet Relay to build up into the deck's boss monster, which is Alcremie, which has a slightly different effect, and that is for each time that Sweets Overload is used, or Sweets Relay is used, its move, Sweets Overload, will do 40 damage for each time it was used. So you can stack this up to potentially do 160 damage, I think, because I think it stacks 4 or 5 times. I'm not exactly sure because I haven't tested this out for myself. But basically, this deck is pretty quick because the move itself only costs 1 or 2, depending on which Pokemon you have out. And you can, if the cards are dealt right and in your favor, which who knows with me, but you can do a lot of damage really quickly. And what's good with this with this deck, even though it is a psychic type deck, the move is colorless. So I'm going to be running water energy and running some Hydras to for healing and things like that. So hopefully we can make these Pokemon last a while and hit hard while we're doing it. But yeah, if you're interested with what all the cards are in this deck, I'll have the entire deck list and description in the video below. But yeah, that's enough of my god-awful rambling and explanation. Let's actually try this out in some matches here. Alrighty, looks like I found my first opponent here. Let's see what we're going to go up against right out of the gate. And unfortunately, we only started with Milcery and nothing else, but we do have an Oak, so we can hopefully draw into something. Sooner rather than later, I hope. But I don't know if I mentioned this in my incoherent rambling that I started the video with, but we're running this around Milcery and Slurpuff. There are a few different Pokemon in the set that you can run, but I'm just narrowing it down to those two because I think they hit the hardest, and I think they're the quickest to get out, and I think the typing is more beneficial than some of the others that have the move in the pack, but we'll see if I'm right or wrong. I didn't really follow like a guide or anything putting this together. I just kind of thought these were the logical two to pair, and then I kind of guessed around what you'd run around it. So we'll see if I'm right or wrong. But we do get our Alcremie. Now we don't, ideally in an ideal world, let's bring that out first because we're gonna have no stacks in it. And Alcremie is the one Pokemon that does not stack into itself. As in, its move, Sweets Overload, is completely dependent on how many times you use Sweets Relay in the past. So we want to use Sweets Relay as much as we can before we actually tag that in. Now, we've only used it once, so I believe it will only do 80 when we tag it in. Which would KO the Weedle, which we can do if, for whatever reason, they don't play anything else. And next turn, Milcery will do 30, so do have that going for us as well. And we do have the poison barb in us, so they attack. Let's not go for them either, especially if they have bricked. But looks like we're going up against Beedrill, which will be interesting. Question is Beedrill and what? There's a few different pairings you can do. I think Beedrill, Meowscarda might be the most popular one. And I actually think we just win here, honestly, because we're just going to evolve into Alcremie and do our either 40 or 80. All right, so it's complete. Okay, you don't get the 40 out of the gate, so it would do 0 if I hadn't attacked the first time with Milcery. Okay, trial and error because I haven't played this deck before. I just kind of put together and then started filming because I'm stupid. All right, we managed to managed to beat a Beedrill deck because they bricked, and now that I know how not to shoot myself in the foot, we'll see if we can actually win some longer duels. But good game to that opponent. I'll be back when I find my next match. Alrighty, looks like I found my next opponent here, and we could have the good fortune of going second once again, which is always nice. Now once again, we start out with Milcery, which is not what you want, and no way to draw cards. And it looks like we're probably going up against Incineroar and Charizard. So we want to get going as fast as we can. And they're going to play Rocky Helmet, which is already going to be a pain in the ass for this deck, but we can heal, which is nice. So if they are able to evolve, well, if they evolve into Incineroar out of the gate regardless, we just lose, so it really doesn't matter if I attack or not. So we'll just attack because we can, and then hope and pray that I draw another basic. So I managed to draw every other card other than the one that I need. Alright, we can heal with Hydra, which is nice, but we don't have anything else, and we can also evolve if I really want to. Okay. I guess I'll play Oak. I mean, I lose regardless if I don't get a basic. For the love of God. Okay. Well, we have to evolve because I have nothing else, and I can't attack because Litten will kill me. Well, we've unfortunately bricked. I probably should have just healed. And they got Incineroar immediately, so we just lose here. That's unfortunate. They got everything they needed, and we didn't get what we needed. But I think I would have died regardless had I healed or not. Because of the burn. And I got Tails anyway, so yeah. Well, unfortunately, the luck gods were not on our side, and we didn't draw anything at all. But hopefully in the next game, we'll have a little bit better luck. But good game to the opponent. I'll be back when I find my next match. Alright, looks like I found my next opponent here, and we have the misfortune of going first, which always sucks. Alright, these hands have been absolutely atrocious, I have to say. But we do have a Pokeball. So, and Pokemon communication with is something. All right, we want to keep our Milcery. We actually don't want to get rid of it since we have Alcremie in our hand. I will use Pokemon communication in hopes of getting Slurpuff here. But because we're a turn behind, it will take us a little bit of time to get going. And we do get Slurpuff here. Now they can one-shot us with the Torkoal, which is a problem, but to try to make them hesitant to attack if we can. And try to get as many sweet relay stacks as we possibly can manage. Now, where are you running alongside Torkoal? Flareon, I would guess. Alright. We're kind of in an unfortunate situation where I can't really attack. Alright, evolve into Alcremie. Alright, well, unfortunately, I couldn't really attack there. Because I would have gotten KO'd by Torkoal. I know, what do they opt to do? I mean, obviously, I think they're probably going to attack me. But I'm not really in a position to tag. They already got their Flareon. So I imagine they're going to... Oh, they didn't use Flareon's effect. That's surprising. Torkoal's poison now. And I have no Sweets Relay stacks, which is also bad. Alright, well, we gotta get at least one to have any sort of hope. The next turn, I would do 90 if there was a next turn. With Slurpuff, I should say. Alright, they could use Flareon's effect to get some energy acceleration, but they may not want to do any unnecessary damage. Alright, they actually opted to not... Oh, they already attached energy to Flareon, so they couldn't attack, actually. Alright, we'll get an energy into this Swirlix. We'll heal. This is why we run the Hydra. And we'll pop Torkoal for 90, so we have 2 stacks now. Now, the good thing about this deck is there's no EXs in it, so if we get enough stacks, we can take out this Flareon in one shot with Alcremie. Now, they do need 2 turns unless they use Combust here to KO Slurpuff. They do use Combust. Makes sense. And they're going to heal, I would presume, because they don't really need to do extra damage. And they get another EV on the bench. Now, Flareon is poison, which does work in our favor. And we're not going to bring in Alcremie yet. We're going to get some more Sweets Relay stacks if we can. Now, it would be nice to draw my other Slurpuff. And I did. All right, ask and I shall receive. Now, this should do 90 because we used Sweets Relay last turn. Okay, now they're kind of in a bad position because they can't really afford to tag Eevee in because we one-shot it. And we still one-shot Flareon no matter what. Alright, they're going to use Combust. Alright, they're actually going to opt to attack. I think the smarter decision for them would have been to attack that other Flareon in and force me to KO it. But thankfully they opted not to do that, so we should have enough, we should have plenty of stacks to, yeah, we got 3 stacks in. We can one-shot the Flareon, and that'll be game. Alright, that time we didn't brick and the deck worked as intended, and we managed to take on a Flareon and Flareon deck with a Torkoal involved there. So, alright, we managed to go 2-1 so far. Not too bad. Let's see if we can get the good luck to continue. I'll be back when I find my next match. Alrighty, looks like I found my next opponent here, and we're going to go first again, which I never like. I'll never not bitch about going first. Alright, well, unfortunately, we don't have Swirlix in our hand, which would have been the better way to start this duel off. And we have an Ino, but I don't want to use Ino just yet because we do have both for evolutions in our hand. But we will trade one in to try to get another basic. Alright, we got our Swirlix, which is not bad. I would have liked to do this in reverse, but oh, we'll take the cards as they're dealt. Alright, now they're running water energy, so they're running Vaporeon or Glaceon. That's the real question. And this EV allows them to draw. So, alright, let's see what we get here. We do get a Slurpuff, which is also nice. So we'll get energy into our Milcery. Go ahead and evolve this bad boy on the bench. Now, do I want to evolve or risk this getting KO'd? Because I do want a Sweets Relay stack. I don't want to risk getting knocked out, so we're just going to evolve. I don't think I'll do any... Yeah, I'll do no damage. So there is that. And I'm going to have to retreat because we have no stacks. Bring Slurpuff in. And that'll be all we can do. Alright, so we do have an Hydra in our hand, or Iridra. I'll say that name 100 different times because I still don't know how to say it because I'm an idiot. And they're running Porygon alongside Eevee, so they're running Vaporeon. Okay. Now, Vaporeon has the effect of Beedrill, where you can discard energy from your opponent. Thankfully, they didn't get what they needed there. Next turn, we are getting hit for 70. See, or not Vaporeon. Porygon only lets him look at the card, not actually draw anything. All right, we get another Milcery, which is nice. All right, well, let's get energy into Slurpuff and get hit for 70. I was hitting the flip a coin. Oh yeah, flip a coin, take it tail. So it is the same exact effect as Team Rocket and Beedrill. It's not guaranteed, so we have to hope for another tails. 2 more tails, actually. All right. Well, will I have? Will I get Mercy this next turn? Because I need them to have some atrocious luck here. All right, let's see what happens. Please be tails. Please be tails. Of course. Alrighty, so we're in a real bad way because I got no stacks. Alright, so what do I do here? There's no point in putting any energy into Alcremie because it can't do anything as of right now. I guess we'll put an energy into this Slurpuff and try to delay. And hope to God they get a tails. And I draw another Hydra. Now, while I do have, I know it really doesn't net me anything. Alright, please for the love of God be tails. Okay, it is. So we can get 1 stack, which is what we need. Right, we can oak it up. We're gonna have to sacrifice Slurpuff just to get our stacks up. Alright, we get another oak. Pokeball's not gonna give me anything. We're just gonna use it to shuffle. And we're gonna get a single Sweets Relay stack up, which means Alcremie can now do 40. But we're gonna need a couple more stacks to really make use of it, so probably gonna have to sacrifice these 2 on our bench before it comes out. Or 1. Alright, there's our Slurpuff here. Doesn't really matter how many heads they get here because Slurpuff is already down for the count. Alright, they get themselves a point, and we'll bring in the Swirlix. Alright, Poison Barb actually helps me a lot here. Alright, we gotta put an energy into Swirlix because we have to attack, so we don't want to not have any stacks. Alright, so now at the very least we can do 80. Which is better than nothing. In an ideal world, I would want 1 more stack, but we're not going to get it. Alright, so they're going to evolve into Porygon Z. They're going to do it twice. Alright, Porygon Z does 80, which sucks. It one-shots anything but Slurpuff. So I think we just probably lose here. No, they're going to tag. Okay. Alright, well, we poison it, but again, it doesn't really help me a whole heck of a lot. I can get Alcremie back out here. But unfortunately, we can only hit for 80. And making me draw grass energy really doesn't hurt us. Alright, how much can we do? We have just double checking. We can only do 80. I guess we'll bring in Vaporeon. Now I could just not attack it, but it's gonna tag. regardless, so doesn't really matter. But we're just going to do this just to say that we got a point. Alright, there's a point on the board. But we're going to get Porygon, so it's really not going to matter a whole heck of a lot. But let's see what they do. I mean, there's really no reason for them not to attack me here. And they're going to get poisoned just because we can. All right. Well, we dropped the game to Vaporeon and Porygon Z. But I will go find one more match to see if we can have just a little bit better luck here. But good games to that opponent. Know it back when I find one more match. Alrighty, looks like I have found my final opponent here. And once again, damn, we're going first. Alright, Alright, this is more ideal. But unfortunately, going first does hurt us because it's going to be harder to get our stacks up. But let's see what we're up against. Of course, Eevee, makes sense. Alright, they're running water, so again, this could be Vaporeon, or this could be Glaceon. Or it could be neither, it could be running a Sylveon or something. But let's find out. Alright, we got everything that we need, barring an evolution. And Hydra, and there's Slurpuff. Alright, so we can evolve, which is nice. Alright. So what are they going to opt to do here? They're running water and psychic energy, so they may be also running Sylveon. Which would make sense. Alright, we got Pokemon Communication. Put energy into our Swirlix. Go ahead and evolve one of our Milcerys into Alcremie. Now, I could evolve now, but we're going to hold on to it to get a stack, which may be stupid, but it's what I'm going to do. That way we can hit for 90 next turn with Slurpuff if we live. Alright, well, we're not going to live. That's a very unfortunate revelation. Oh, damn it. Right, are they running Vaporeon in this deck? They're running Sylveon and Espeon. Alright, now, unfortunately, I don't have anything that'll survive an attack from Sylveon just yet. But we need to keep our stacks up. So now I can only do 80 with Alcremie. Unfortunately, we are behind the 8-ball here. We do have a Sabrina and a Cyrus, but I don't know if luck will be on my side enough to get one of those. Alright, we're going to lose our Milcery, so we'll bring in Slurpuff here. We can't lose another Pokemon, unfortunately, so I don't really know exactly what I'm thinking here. I brought Slurpuff out first to act like a wall. I probably should have just brought Alcremie in, but it would have got one-shotted, so we're just delaying. Alright, so we're gonna get hit for 70 here. You unfortunately don't survive another turn. Now we're gonna heal up to 90. The problem being that if I swing, then I lose because I'm just gonna get hit for 70 next turn. So there is that. I mean, there's no point in playing Pokemon. I guess swinging is all I can really do. Either way, I'm just gonna lose. We need the stacks, and I don't have them. They're running Irja as well. I do wonder if they're running Vaporeon too, or if they're just running Irja for the healing. Or just running water energy to heal. But alright, we're unfortunately going to drop our last match. And not have a very good showing with the Sweets Relay deck. I probably could have built it better, but this is just the way I opted to try it. And yeah, luck just didn't go my way, unfortunately. But good games to that opponent. I do believe I'm going to end the video here, though. If you made it this far, do thank you for watching. Like, subscribe if you like it. I'll catch you guys in the next one.